All right, page 158b, question number 5. First, let's take a look at the example. So the example gives us a parabola. In this case, we have y equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. The solution tells us that to substitute 0, y equal to 0 into it. The reason why is that we're trying to find the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts is when y is equal to 0, right? Your corresponding answer for x. So in order for us to do that, we have to first factorize the equation, which is x squared minus 2x minus 3. Once we factorize this one, we actually get x minus 3 times x plus 1. Again, this was the previous knowledge that we have to know by factorization. And then basically whatever x values will give me 0 afterwards. So my x is going to be 3 and negative 1. So similar approach we're going to use for this question. All we need to do is that we're going to substitute y equal to 0, so which becomes x squared minus 4x equal to 0. If we factorize this, take out the x, this becomes x minus 4 equal to 0. So in this case, what two x values will make the whole equation 0? X equal to 0 and also x equal to 4. So then my coordinate is going to be 0, 0 and 4, 0. Okay, so this will be the first question. And I believe we also have a next one too. All right, let's import the next one. Nora, can you take your friend to Miss Awad to do the assessment test first? I will take a look at the test. You can do your work and I'll come back and I'll talk to him. Okay? Miss Awad. You know who Miss Awad is, right? The one is a little older lady outside. Nice to meet you. Okay. 160b, in this question over here, same thing, right? We're trying to find the coordinates for x-intercepts, okay? So what we're going to do is that we're going to substitute y equal to 0, 2x squared minus 6x equal to 0. But instead of just factorize out x, I need to factorize 2x instead. So x minus 3 equal to 0. Where do we get the minus 3 from? If you take out 2x from the 6x, that's going to be the 3 left, right? So this is our factorized version. So then what two values of x will make the whole thing 0? First, x has to be 0 or x has to be 3. So my coordinates is going to be 0, 0 and 3, 0. Okay, so that's this question. All right, next page. I believe we have a new concept. And this new concept is we have to graph it. Okay, so quadratic functions in graph number 3. Find the coordinates of vertex. We need to know the vertex. All right, we also need to know the y-intercept and x-intercept. Based on the previous knowledge, you already know how to find the x-intercepts. All we need to do for x-intercepts is that we have to substitute y equal to 0, right? So any equation that was given, for example, this equation was given, we have to get that to be equal to 0 and solve for that. Either we can factorize it or we can use quadratic formula to solve for that. In this case, we're going to factorize it, so pretty easy, right? X minus 3 and x plus 1. That's exactly what we did over here when you find out the x-intercept. However, for y-intercept, simply substitute x equal to 0 into the whole equation. So instead of substituting y equal to 0 this time, I'm going to use x equal to 0. Right? So for this equation over here, if I substitute x equal to 0, we'll get 0, 0, and minus 3. So my y value will be equal to negative 3. So corresponding coordinates or y-intercept will be 0, negative 3. So that will be the y-intercept. And again, from the previous knowledge, you already know that how to find vertex. So what is a vertex again? Is the tipping point of the parabola, or the lowest point. It could be the lowest point, it could be the highest point, right? How do we find a vertex normally? The vertex, normally we use completing square. So remember the previous video I sent you guys, how do we do quote unquote plastic surgery to complete the square? That's exactly what we did over here, right? We're kind of creating a complete square from nowhere, because when we look at x squared minus 2x, I can see that if, okay, I add a 1 over here, but because I added 1 out of thin air, sorry, that video was interrupted. So if we add a 1, we also have to subtract 1. If I add 1, luckily, what I will get is I get x squared minus 2x plus 1. and minus that 3, and also minus 1. Sometimes it's better for us to do plus 1, minus 1 at the same time, because we know that, okay, we add 1 from thin air, we also minus 1. And the thing is, it's not always adding 1, eh? It can be adding or subtracting any number. It depends on this number over here.
Wait, Tony.
Anyways, it depends on the negative 2 over here, okay? All right, so next we have minus 3 here. And this is a complete square for me because this is x minus 1 to the power of 2, and then minus 4. So that's basically my vertex form, right? We call it vertex form. And how do we find the vertex? The vertex will be, again, referring to the past video that I sent you guys. It will be whatever value makes this thing, right? Whatever value makes this thing 0. In this case, it's going to be x equal to 1. And whatever is left behind, which is negative 4. So the vertex will be 1 and negative 4. So that should summarize this video over here. Any questions, please let me know.